Hi, my name's MonsterKai, and I'm going to be drawing some Soldier 76 from Overwatch. First, we have to draw the visor. You draw the visor. We'll color it later. But he's also got a mask, because he knows the air is very dirty. It's got a respirator in it, so he can breathe. Then he's got this funny thing here. Then we got to give him some hair. It's very pointy. Gotta put that glow on that visor. Also got a little microphone here. I think it's a microphone, so I will put this microphone here. Then he's got some collars here. And now we got the head. The head's pretty much done. Now, we need to draw the gun. It's a rectangle shape, so draw the rectangle. And using some reference here, looks like about back third is where the grip is. And then we'll put a little thing here in the middle. And then we will put a little spriget here. I think that's what it's called. I have no idea. Maybe. Put a bump up top. And of course, he shoots out explosives. Fires some like grenade-like projectile thing. So we put this at the bottom here. And then once we got that, put a little trigger here. We'll draw a little square and maybe a little arrow to indicate. We got his trademark gun drawn. But now we have to draw him holding the gun. So we'll start from this area right here. And then we're going to draw his arm up to the gun. Take your time. And then we're going to draw his upper arm here. And then I'm going to do a little indent here for the forearm. Back here. We need to show those muscles. And then we're going to go here up to the wrist. And then we're going to draw the hand. So what we're going to do here is we're going to draw a square to indicate his hand. And then we'll put a little bump right there to indicate his finger. He's holding on to the weapon. Okay. And then we're going to switch over to our eraser tool. I pressed E for mine. And then we're just going to erase this part inside because his hand is above the gun. And we need to make sure we follow the rules of death. So there we go. Now, if you look at the reference of Soldier 76, he's wearing gloves too. So we're going to put a little line in here to indicate a part of the glove. Okay. And now we'll get back to that later. We could put another line here to indicate his finger kind of bent in a little bit. But I think that'll be good. We don't have to go crazy. Now we are going to draw his other arm, which is going to go behind and go under this area right here where I'm drawing. So we're going to put a box right here, or another rectangle, as I should say. Take your time. And then we're going to erase everything in here. You know, I'm going to take your time here, erase everything. And then we're going to draw little lines in here, at least 3, to indicate his hand. And there's his fingers. We could make this a little bit better, because right now we're just showing the tips of his fingers, but we could show a little bit of the rest of the fingers by just drawing this line right here. And I think it looks good enough. It's his left hand, of course, so. Now, we need to draw the body. And we drew his collars here. I think we need to indicate his neck a little bit more. So I'm going to draw this line right here. And then we're going to draw another line here, because that's part of his neck. And then we'll draw another line here. Indicate the other side of his neck. Does it look okay to you guys? I think it looks okay to me. Yeah, I think it looks good. I also noticed on the ref, he also has like a little belt along the collar sticking out. So we'll just add a little bit here. Follow the reference, of course. And then put a little line here, and maybe a little square to just be like, here's a belt clip. Switch over to our eraser. Erase this here. And there we got his belt. Or his collar hook. Whatever it is. And now we're going to finish the rest of the torso. We're going to connect the sleeve here and draw this down. And then we're going to connect the other sleeve and draw this down too. Now looking at the reference, he also has his jacket closed up by a zipper. It's partially open at the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to do little squiggles here. These squiggles will help indicate the zippers. And then we'll do one to the other side as well. Oh, pardon me, I need a drink. I'm going to grab some tea. This oolong tea is very good. There we go. And now we're almost done with this drawing, or at least getting the line art done. Now we need to draw, well, we did draw his back hand, his left hand. We need to draw the rest of his arm. So we're going to do a little line here, kind of a corner of a box. And then we're going to draw a little bit more here. We're going to draw a line here, right below the back of the gun. And draw it a little further to indicate the rest of the body. And then what we're going to do is draw a little dent here to indicate his elbow. And I think we can try drawing another line here. It's a bit lined up with the rest of the gun. I don't like that, so we're going to erase that. It's a little too on tangent with the bottom of the barrel, but that's okay. We're going to maybe try to go a little farther down and maybe have a sleeve underneath. I think that should work. That should be fine. Cool. We got our Soldier 76. He's almost done. I say we indicate the rest of the back here. It's kind of going to go down to... We're just going to draw the upper torso. We're not drawing the entire figure. I say no, that line at the bottom is still not good. So we're going to quickly just do a straight line. Yeah, and then maybe we'll continue this line here. And then we'll put a line for the zipper. And there, we're almost there. Just a few more details. Some parts of his jacket. He's got a little shoulder pad. So we're going to draw the shoulder pad here. There's a little bit of a dent, so we're going to go over our previous drawings line, get our eraser tool, and then we're going to erase this line because the shoulder pad goes over his shoulder. And from the reference, though, it looks like the other side has got a little belt buckle, but we're going to keep it simple because there's already a lot of lines here, so we don't want to add too much detail. So we'll try to do what we can here. I think I'm going to make a little square here, draw a little square here, draw it in, and then draw another line to indicate it going underneath or behind the left collar. We are going to erase the back line as much as we can. Maybe fix up our line here. We're not going to go too crazy. No, we can't do that. And now we're going to draw two squares here to show where the little pouches are. And then I would say draw maybe a little extra line to indicate that this is part of the sleeve. We're going to do some coloring, so we don't have to worry too much about the line. Inside the shirt, I think we could use a little bit more work in this sleeve area right here. Feels a little bit too empty. So we're going to just do that. Get our line back, get back to our 10 pixel brush. And then we're going to just add a few lines. I'm following reference here. So we're not designing anything from scratch, really. We're following the reference from the concept art from the Overwatch 1 version of Soldier. And he's got his little body plate armor under there too. So we're going to do a little line to indicate his armor. Oh, and let's go back to the face. Even though we got this face area too, I noticed he's got a little like visor borders here. So we're going to add that. I think the other side is kind of clear, but we'll add that too. And Now we're just finishing up with little extra details. Add a little collar here. His collar's kind of got a little bit of a... Oh, sorry if you guys hear that. There's a helicopter outside, you know. Where you live, where I live, helicopters are always flying around. You know, that's just how it is. But yeah, I think we got a good Soldier 76 right here. Let's see. He's also got a little bit... We also know something with the mask. He's got a little bit of a dent to kind of indicate the shape of his nose. I think we can leave that dent in to show some space. And I'm sorry if I'm talking a little quiet or sopping. There's a helicopter flying right above my apartment, so it's making so much noise. But yeah, we're gonna just keep recording. But I think in terms of art, this is good. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. The helicopters were flying around right above my apartment. I could not record whatsoever. So it seems like they left. We got some time. We're gonna finish this up. But in terms of the drawing itself, it's pretty much done. This is what we need. Now we're going to be doing the color. So I'm using Toon Boom right here, and while there are ways to just color the line art directly within the line art here, I'm going to treat this as if you guys would work with any other drawing program where you'll probably keep all the colors and stuff separate on different layers. So that's what we're going to do. So in my case, I'm going to go onto a layer right underneath my line art, and just to be sure, we're going to lock the top layer. Don't have to do this, but I get a little paranoid of always drawing on layers I don't need to, so I tend to lock stuff when I need to. But with Toon Boom, you can actually select colors and stuff since everything's vectorized. It's very easy to fix mistakes if you need to. So, now that the line art is done, we are going to keep with our main brush, and we are going to just increase the width. We don't have to keep to 10. We're going to maybe start off with 40, whatever size you guys prefer. But we're going to be working with fills and stuff here. So first, and we're just going to work from top to bottom. You can follow any rule or color method or like order you want. It's no big deal. First, we're going to pick a good blue color, but we're not going to stick to the ones defaulted here. Pick a blue. I would say pick a blue that's not so saturated. It's a bit more toned down. So we're going to go to our HSV slider. Slide down the blue a little bit. Kind of just eye it and judge it. The blue on Soldier's costume is not too dark, but it's not too desaturated either. So I think this should be just right. We're going to stick with that. And then what we're going to do here is just simply fill it in. And because we're working on a layer below, we don't have to worry about affecting the line art. Do it however you feel like it. And we're just going to loosely fill this up. So I'm following the ref, but I'm going to make some choices here or there to kind of differentiate it and make sure things don't look too boring. That's the main thing I want to get with these drawings is I don't want it to look boring. I want it to look good. Okay. His collar is also blue, so we're going to do that too. We're going to shrink our brush as well. I'm not using any pressure sensitivity, so I just have to rely on brush size. But whatever you guys are using, you know, you do you. And his inside sleeve is also blue. Gonna do that. And then I'm just gonna fill it in. There we go. Then we're gonna fill this one in too. Could go back to the bigger brush to fill it in, but it's all good. And then we're gonna color a bit of his visor because a bit of his visor is blue too. This time you can just take, you know, chill, take it easy, fill in those colors. We can turn off our brains for a little bit while we get these drawings done and think about what we're going to do next, maybe. Or maybe just listen to some tunes. Okay, I think we got most of the blue done. Now, we kind of skipped something I think maybe I should have recognized or said before, but... actually, wait a minute. I think we should probably... No, we can leave. I think that's good. Now, one good tip when it comes to drawing, whether it's the line art or the color, is to draw whatever catches the eye first or whatever's most interesting, whether it's to you or the viewer. And in the case of coloring, generally I would start off with like, okay, what color is going to stand out the most? We started off with blue, but there's definitely a stronger color that stands out more, or is more distinct, at least in my opinion. It's the visor and the gloves. It's the red. The red and yellow. And for this one, I'd say we can just use I'm going to just use the default red color here. And this is from a previous palette I used for something else, so I already have a yellow. But I'm just going to use the standard stock red, completely saturated. I'm going to draw in this here. We're just going to take our time and draw our soldier. It's got a red visor. Now we're going to add some yellows in a second. First, we're going to go to the rest of our drawing and find the parts that indicate a little bit of red. So he's going to have some red on his jacket here. And his gloves are red too. At least the fingers. So we're going to color in the gloves real quick. Now I noticed I said something when there's a little segmented part on his glove here. We're not going to color this entire glove red on this right side. We're going to just do the red over here. And there's also, we didn't draw this in the line art, but for the sake of just time, so we had to redraw everything and add on the line. He does have a bit of a red coil on his gun. And to indicate it on this for our gun, we are just going to draw a bit of red at the very top. Or actually, no, we should probably do like a little line like that. Yep, there we go. And then once we fill the rest in, we'll get that figured out. Okay, so we got the red. Now we need to do the visor. I think we got all the red on his sleeve. Now we got to do the visor. So we're going to switch over to a yellow. And we kind of indicated it right here with the line art. So we're just going to follow that and just draw our yellow visor here. And there we go. We can probably do some little squiggle lines to kind of indicate a gradient here. It's not just a solid yellow, but let's see. Then we'll kind of do a loose brush here. And then you know what? We're going to go back to red and then kind of clean that out just a little bit. We'll do some on the top. We could have just stuck with the line art, but you know what? We're going to experiment a little bit. And then we'll do it on the bottom too, because the visor's more like a gradient here, but we're just working with solid colors. So we got to go work with cross-hatching or just some other methods to kind of help bring it out a little more. Okay, so now we are going to work on the gray. And I think I have a gray here. This might be more of a brown. So I don't know if this is the right color. I think it works. Let me check. Maybe this might be all right. How's the saturation? It's a... We want the saturation to be all the way down. So we'll just bring this down a little bit. Actually, we'll copy this since we're using this color already. Bring down the saturation. Okay, and there is our gray. This should be good enough for what we're doing. Maybe make it a little lighter. Just a little bit. Turn up the value. And now we are going to fill in the parts that are gray and black. I think it's a mix. I think it's more like a darkish gray color, but because the reference we're using is a bit already lit and rendered, we're just going to pick a color. Maybe we'll go a little darker, just a little bit. Kind of get a good middle ground. And yeah, I think that works all right. And now we're going to go fill in the rest here. Take our time and adjust. I got to adjust my brush as well. Shrink it. I'm using a quick shortcut on my Cintiq pen to increase the size. So I can kind of juggle back and forth what I need. And this part's going to be pretty good, pretty easy. He says whole neck and mask area is just gray. A film I worked on, I did a lot of coloring work for, a feature film, animated film. We had to color traditional drawings on the computer. And because there were no like vector line art to follow, one of the things we had to do was pretty much kind of outline the color to the best we can. So even with like solid fill art like this, where it's easy, you could just use a paint bucket tool or something, you can still use the same process. So what I'll do is I'll go around and just color the outside area, and you could just fill it like this. But I'm just doing this so I can do a quick fill and kind of have a good stopping point where I'm not relying on the line art don't have to go over it too much. It's just good practice. This area is gray too. Okay. And we're gonna leave it at that. We'll fill up as much as we can. Cool. Okay, now we're gonna find other parts. I would say his bottom jacket is more black. It's a bit covered up, so we're gonna have to take a guess. And we don't have lines indicating that, but we can just draw our blue or our gray here, and then we're gonna do it for this bottom area. And then maybe we'll do a quick line here. And again, this is a case where we don't have to go along the art, but we're just gonna do this just so we can have, it's a good stopping point to keep yourself from going over line art too much. Inside of his jacket it's a bit of blue and gray, but I'm gonna say, let's go gray here. And then, actually, I might just use the blue. Go back to blue for this one. Just take your time. When it starts to get these little itty-bitty areas, things are going to be a little tricky, but, you want it to make it look good. We got the red out here on the sleeve. Okay, we'll go back to our gray. We do have a bit on gray on the end of that sleeve cuff, or hook. Little pouch on his shoulder here. And now we're getting to his hands. So his sleeves also are grayed. Oh, we'll do that. And also we'll get to his gloves here. And the rest of his jacket, I think there's a little blue indicated in there. So yeah, it's okay to go back and figure out like, okay, we got other colors we actually have to, that we missed earlier. So we'll do that. Back of his hand here. Most of his sleeve is blue. Go back to his gray. Okay. And now we're going to find the gray on the gun. And we got this little inner part here, so we're going to do that. And if his gun is also gray, we'll do that. The grenade launcher, or the rocket launcher. I think it's a mix of both. Gray as well. The top of his gun, I believe, is also gray, so we're going to follow that as well. And then we get to this back area, which I believe is a mix of white and gray, but for now we're just going to stick to the gray. And then we're going to color around the red we drew here. If you make any mistakes, you just you can draw over it. Okay, but the coloring is almost done. We are almost there. And we're just filling this in, and then maybe we'll clean up this little edge here, and there we go. You know what, with this line art, I do want to indicate some line art here. So I'm going to go back to my line art layer. I'll go back to my 10 pixel brush, go back to my black here, and we're going to fill in those places. Even though I said we don't need those colors, you know, we could just indicate it with colors. I think we do need to redraw this stuff back in. So we're going to do that now. Okay, and then we fixed our little line art here. We're going to go back to our color layer. And I'm saying we're going to probably get, for the hair and the part of that shoulder sleeve, it's grayish, or it's a light gray. And his hair is white, but we already have like a white background. A gray, actually no, maybe white. We'll leave his hair white. But if you ever need to, you could always use like a little, very slightly tinted gray to indicate that. We might actually we'll give that a shot. But I think for the shoulder pad, we needed a little bit of a darker gray. So we're gonna do that first for this piece. I think we can use actually a little bit of gray on the bottom of his gun. Here's another case of where we can use this to help break it up. So we're going to go back to our line art layer. Go back to our brush. Just to add a bit of, I guess, variety to it. You don't want things too even. And then maybe we'll fix this blue. You know what? I'm not liking just solid colors like that. I like to indicate with the line art. So we're going to do that. And now with the hair, I'm actually going to do, we could just leave it white. I'm going to check to see. This might not be noticeable at all on screen or in print too much. But we're going to go for super, super, super light gray. And we're going to just fill this in. This might be not too noticeable for you guys, but for me, I think it's going to be a little better. And maybe for the case of the hair, we're going to maybe do this with the other colors as well. We're just going to do it right off the bat, where we're not going to fill everything in with color. We're just going to pick a portion and leave some there to kind of indicate a highlight. And you know what? We're going to probably do this for the other stuff as well. But for now, we're just going to finish this up. And I think that gray works okay. I think it's still, honestly, I don't like it. So we're going to take this out. But you can undo it if you need to, or you can just click delete. Or actually, it might be better. I think I like it better where the gray is not taking up much more. So we're going to just use a line to indicate some shadow and take out most of the gray there. Because I think a little bit of gray is okay. We're going to go back to our brush and maybe just kind of sharpen out these edges a little bit. Just indicates some shadow. I think that's okay. And there, we are almost done with the color. And now we're going to do something crazy. We're going to add some highlights. And we're going to do this by taking our eraser tool and just going along the areas we want to create a highlight. You don't have to do this for everyone. So maybe for the visor, we don't have to, or we could just shrink it. We could do a big highlight first. You might want to go portion by portion. We're going to kind of make the highlight come from the left side. And you could just do like one big like line right through everything, but sometimes you could just go by portion, which might actually make it look a little better. You could do the gun. Don't really have to, but now we could do some rim lighting on the back side, on the top. Give it some more flavor. Making points of contrast to kind of have the eye drawn towards. And maybe one on the visor. And there we go. We have a finished Soldier 76 drawing. And I think the last thing we got to do is we just add our signature. We'll put it right here on the gun first. And then we're going to shrink this down. We can leave it big if we want. Then we can maybe do a gray. I'm going to do a light gray because I don't want the sig, in this case, to stick out too much. And there we go. We have a finished drawing of Soldier 76. It's overall pretty easy. We stuck with a 10 pixel fixed brush. We're using reference, of course, so this is not completely our own design or pose or too much. But maybe next time I'll show you guys a drawing where we're just going to use our imagination and just kind of work from what we can remember. We'll probably do a different pose, maybe tell a little bit more of a story here, because right now he's just kind of like holding his gun and being like, I'm Soldier 76. There's really not much to it. I'll probably try that for the next drawing, or at least the next drawing of this character, but we'll see in the future. But if you like this, please check out my channel. I'll have more uploaded soon, and I'll catch you guys next time.